Welcome to the podcast. I am your host, her, her. I am your host, Herb Man T.
Spectate.
I'm feeling real good. I am feeling real good. Love that part. So today I'm going to be talking about elimination, sleeping problems, brain fog, and sciatica. I have a lot to go over today, so I'm just going to get right to it. So when talking about elimination, it is one of the four main processes that the human body goes through. The first one is digestion, second element absorption. First is digestion, the second one is absorption, the third is utilization, and the fourth is elimination. And when talking about elimination, you want to focus on the colon, the kidneys, the skin, and the lymphatic system. Now, the colon, or you can run into colon problems when you eat the wrong foods, you are poorly hydrated. Now, the colon involves your large intestines. Uh, It consists of your ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, and your sigmoid colon. In there is where your liquid waste converts into more solid stools and then is moved out of the body. If this process is slowed down, you will run into inflammation, which could lead to problems. A great herb for the colon, or one herb I'm going to talk about for the colon, is yellow dock root. Side note, I've realized I am separating, when I am organizing my tabs, you can group them. I grouped a tab on accident and became concerned and didn't realize what happened. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is life saving right here. So yellow dock root, it is a tonic, an astringent, an alterative, a cholagogue, and a laxative. So tonic can help to strengthen the large intestines or the colon. Astringent, again, can help to tone or strengthen the colon. Alterative moves lymph. Cholagogue increase the stimulation of bile. Bile helps to emulsify fat, so break them down into tiny droplets so the pancreas can finish them off. And then laxative, so it can stimulate the bowels or stimulate the autonomic nervous system to move out the digestive waste. Once that waste accumulates and sits there for too long, you can get angry, agitated, and blocking the colon can lead to poor brain function, especially when the transverse colon or the waste is sitting in the transverse colon. There's a direct link to the brain from the transverse colon. All right, the second thing I want to talk about when dealing with elimination will be kidneys. So your kidneys deals with your fluid balance as well as your mineral balance and a plethora of other things. But what I want to talk about is what is unheard of and or not spoken about a lot, or just it's not enough research done on it. And that is kidney filtration, or the kidney filtering your lymphatic fluid. Now, the cause of all of your problems is an accumulation of lymph in certain areas of your body that could be due to a genetic weakness. Now, when you're talking about what is the lymphatic fluid, the lymph the lymphatic fluid is a collection of fluid that your blood doesn't want. So the way it works is that the blood leaks out fluid, leaks out hormones, minerals, etc., into your interstitial spaces, and these spaces are around the cells. And then from there, the waste that the cells create and other fluids that doesn't want to be in the interstitial spaces anymore goes into the lymph fluid. So whatever fluid that is in those interstitial spaces, once it enters into the lymphatic capillaries or the lymphatic vessels, it is now known as lymphatic fluid. So that's how you can see that is one route that white blood cells can take to enter into the lymph. Now, when this cellular waste is entering into the lymph, it is then eliminated out through the kidneys. If the kidneys aren't filtering, this waste is then going to be recirculated into the body, and it's not supposed to be there. So, this waste being recirculated into the body, being in places it shouldn't be, is going to create heat or inflammation or a state of acidosis in different areas of your body, depending on what your genetic weaknesses are. Maybe I should stop drinking this rhodiola root and all these likes. Feel my mouth getting all. Okay, so now the cellular waste that's building up in these genetically weak areas is no different than the digestive waste that is being built up or that has accumulated in your bowels when you are constipated. Same concept. Acids are building up around the cells. The cells become agitated and can no longer do their function properly. And then you begin to experience pain. The longer this waste sits there, the more the cells will deteriorate. And then you get what they call cancerous cells. A great herb for the kidneys is corn silk. It has demulcent actions, chalagogue, diuretic, and I don't see it here, but it also has antiseptic actions as well. So it can be used to soothe and clean the kidneys to help spark up some filtration. Next up, the skin. So the skin is responsible for protection. That's one of its main functions, to protect us from the environment. Now, there's a connection from the skin to the thyroid, from the skin to the liver. So whenever you're running into a skin problem, you want to make sure you're focusing on your thyroid. The thyroid deals with body temperature, helps us to sweat. The liver is like a chemical factory. It deals with getting rid of bacteria. I'll say that. So again, whenever you have a skin problem, you want to make sure you're focusing on the thyroid as well as the liver. A great herb for the thyroid, a great herb that can help promote the thyroid's function is bladderwrack. Man, I love these tabs. Bladderwrack, yeah. It's considered anti-hypothyroid and also a nutritive. And a great herb to help promote the liver's function is Oregon grape root. It's antibacterial, antimicrobial, as well as a bitter and hepatic stimulant. Now, one thing I didn't mention is a herb for the skin that can help to strengthen the skin, and it is considered a connective tissue tonic, and that is horsetail. Horsetail, also great for bone health as well. Not only that, it is an astringent and diuretic. So astringent helps to tone and tighten tissues. Diuretic works on stimulating the kidney's function. Now, I briefly went over the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system is systemic. It runs from head to toe, goes all throughout your body. The lymphatic system deals with cleaning your cells. Why? Because the waste from your cells moves into the lymphatic system. So you have waste from the cells going into the interstitial spaces, which contain the interstitial fluid. That fluid then moves into the lymph. And once this waste is into the lymphatic capillaries, lymphatic vessels, it's traveling through multiple lymph nodes uh, until it makes its way to the kidneys. Also, the skin is considered the third kidney. So when you're sweating, that is also promoting the movement of lymph and the elimination of this waste. A great herb for moving lymph or for the lymphatic system is red clover. You have red clover flowers as well as red clover blossoms. I don't I don't have my bag over here, do I? No. I saw brahmi up there and thought it was red clover blossoms, but it's not. But it is in alternative. So alternatives and lymphatics both are terms used to say promotes lymph. It's also antispasmodic and nutritive. I see it in a lot of female reproductive formulas. Now I had a couple questions too. Oh, what's going on? Hey Florence, what's going on? What's good? Thanks for sharing. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now I had a few questions. So one question was, I can see you have an amazing reviews. Can you please let me know what can be good for sleeping? All right. So whenever you're dealing with a sleeping issue, you got to think endocrine system. You got to think nervous system. I found some earlier I wanted to piggyback off of, but I ran into some internet issues and had to restart the computadora. All right, so sleeping problems. You could have an issue with your circadian rhythm or your sleep wake cycle. Could be that you have what they call anxiety. Could be that you have a deficiency such as depression. Anytime you're dealing with anxiety or depression, you have to look at the endocrine system, specifically anxiety. You want to focus on the adrenal glands. Oh, here it is right here. And with this depression, you want to focus on the parathyroid. So generally, you want to bring balance to the entire endocrine system. And herbs you can use to help promote the endocrine system's function. I always like to mention chase tree berry. It is a pituitary adjuvant. A great herb for the adrenal glands would be the herbal action adaptogens. Now, a great adaptogen is an herb known as Schisandra berry. Not only that, it helps to promote the HPA axis. So basically, there is a communication between the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and the adrenal glands every time someone enters into flight or fight mode. Again, the herb Schisandra berry works on that. Now, the reason I mentioned the hypothalamus gland is because whenever whenever light goes into the body via the eyes, it sends a signal to the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus then sends a signal to the pituitary gland, letting the pituitary gland know how much light is coming into the eyes to determine should you go to sleep or not. And that's why it's important to work on that hypothalamus gland. Now, an herb that could potentially promote the function of the pineal gland that I found. I knew of this herb for a while, but it just didn't hit me till recently. And that herb is blue lotus. So its properties, blue lotus flower. So the properties are nervine, antispasmodic, and euphoric, and it has been used in meditation to stimulate the third eye. And if you know a little bit about something, the third eye is also known as your pineal gland or pineal gland. All right, next question. Help with post COVID brain fog, please and thank you. Yeah, so brain fog, neurological problem, so or cognition issue. So brain fog is a term for feeling mentally sluggish, fuzzy, or not sharp. It's just sluggish, like oh, I can't think properly. 1 plus 1 is what 5. You know, just not there all the way. And a great herb for promoting uh, the function of your central nervous system or your brain function is bacopa, also known as brahmi, the herb that I thought looked like red clover blossoms from afar. Of course, when you're looking at it up close, it looks nothing like it. I mean, basically, you're dealing with what is that? Stems, flowers. I'm not even sure, but its actions. It is an adaptogen, so great for the adrenals, and it's also a cognition and memory enhancer. And then the last question I had now, important thing to know again. So earlier when I was talking about sleeping problems, you want to focus on the nerves and you want to focus on the endocrine system. Any neurological problems, you want to make sure you're focusing on the nerves as well as the endocrine system. But if you want to right turn down here, if you want to bring balance, if you want to promote health, if you want to support wellness, if you want to nurture, you have to think holistic. So food is important. Food matters. And if you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Just so you know, I'm live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch every Monday through Friday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, but you have to think holistic. So food is extremely important. Fruits, berries, and melons. You want to hydrate. The cells love hydration. They want to hydrate. You can't do that on bread. You can't do that on dairy. You can't do that on protein. It's not going to happen. That's why you see a lot of people who work out. They want to drink gallons and gallons of water to attempt to hydrate, or they're getting injections. But intravenously, I believe it's called. All right. So last question. I have sciatic nerve damage. How can I fix that? It has my right leg unable to move. What herb can I take that can fix sciatic nerve damage? So one herb will not do the job, unless you, I guess, go to a temple and have sounds. You get some kind of sound. I don't want to say treatment, so sound something. Sound therapy. There we go. I think that's better than treatment, right? Get some type of sound. It's going back to support. Get some sound support. There you go. To make you feel better. But ultimately, you have to work. You have to work on the inside. You have to consume something, because when you're talking about the different levels of detoxing or the different levels of nurturing the body, ultimately, if you can just survive off the like what, ether prana, basically the air energy from the air, then the next step will be water, and then the next step down from that would be on your fruits, mono fruits, and then below that is a combination of fruits. So a great herb for nerve pain. First, what is sciatica? So a severe pain that radiates from the back into the hip and out and outer side of the leg caused by compression of sciatic nerve. So something is pushing on the nerves. Hopefully it's not a bone, but also too maybe it's just an accumulation of waste that's around the nerve that keeps pushing on it. So a great herb for pain is white willow bark, the original source of aspirin. Now they're making aspirin out of some chemicals made in the lab, but it's an analgesic, anti-inflammatory, great for reducing fevers as well as astringent. Then another great herb for reducing pain is yellow sweet clover. It is an antispasmodic, analgesic, anti-inflammatory, as well as a diuretic. No, hold on one moment. Little man, oh, I didn't mean to put that up there. Sorry about that. That was up there the whole time. All right, so just something to take home. If you want to start detoxing now, if you want to start healing now, you have to look at what you are consuming. If it's not hydrating you, then it's a problem. Our bodies love water. Our bodies love hydration. So you want to make sure you hydrate, hydrate, and hydrate. Watermelons are the best thing to consume if you want to hydrate. When I'm done with this, I'm definitely going to go get me some more watermelon. Do not be concerned if it's seedless or not. If you can get seeded watermelon, get it. If you can't, then get the seedless. Why? Because it's still better than the fast food. Still better than the potatoes you want to eat. Yeah, so if you want to support the podcast, go ahead and join me on Patreon. I'm having live AMAs on Patreon every Saturday at 2 p.m. Standard Eastern Time. Thank you all for joining the podcast. Peace.